Hey, it's Anthony Meisner with Land Title. I came to bring you your first to know update for the greater Metro Denver area. And one thing I think you could use to be describing the single family home market in greater Metro is just stable. I mean, we are very similar to where we were a year ago. Average sales price is only 0.6% off. And we've had a very similar start to the year. Your median sales price is up about 1.8%. It's the best numbers we've seen this year so far. So we're kind of right in that vein of where we were last year. Now, the other part of the market that we have seen, definitely not the same market, and is the attached market. So that condo townhouse market, we're down 1.8% year over year on the average. But if you look at that line, the last 2 years have been, well, not great. And honestly, as you look at the median, we've seen a little more slippage than that, down 3% on the median. So down to 387,000, which is dramatically below where we've been, for a while. So as we see some stability in that detached market, this market pinching just a little bit. You can see even by price per square foot, it's down more than that. So I honestly wonder if the attached market is really feeling a little bit more pressure than those numbers lead on with the 6% drop. And you can see we've kind of ratcheted down year over year over year for 4 straight years since the pandemic. Now, that being said, look at what you're seeing on the average price per square foot in the detached market. Those single family homes have been basically the same ever since we left the 2022 year. So after we hit that peak, we come down just a little bit off the absolute peak of the market, and we really have been riding in that same line. And, it all comes down to supply and demand, right? So when you look at it, yes, we saw a rise in inventory year over year over year, but from 25 to 26, we are back down lower in inventory levels. Now, it's not great, but we're also still at not even 12,000 units here in June, and June being one of the peaks for top listings of the year. And, we came off of what was the height of the market in May, and we really have slowed that increase in active units of inventory. So sellers clearly don't have the appetite they did a year ago. If you look at the new listing slide, we're only down 2.3%, but the entire beginning of the year, we just didn't list as many homes as we had before. So supply is diminished, and that's keeping that price integrity in the detached market, not helping the attached market. But the new under contracts, stability, right? You can see that buyers are buying just like they have for 4 straight years in a row. We're up 1.9%, but honestly, it's bouncing around exactly where it's been. So until something changes, buyer demand clearly isn't going to change because it's so expensive to buy and because that affordability is so high here. So if you look at the month supply of listings, we're at 3.5 months. It's not great, but it's not bad. We're slightly maybe out of balance because we're clearly not getting any appreciation, or if we are in the detached market, it's just a little bit. But you can see we're down 12% from this time last year, which is a good sign for sellers, right? It should help keep some of that integrity in the marketplace. Now, lastly, I think market activity really tells us what's it feel like to be a buyer and seller. Really excited to show, this is the second month now that we've had this percentage close price to original list price. So that means price drops, everything's accounted for in that. You can see that we're past the peak of the year where you get the most money for your sale. Now we're down to 97.1%, but it's basically the same as it was a year ago. Right? We're just slightly off, but we are dropped seasonally like you would expect to see already by a 0.5 percentage point. This really bottoms out somewhere around September before we get into that November, December market where it's the lowest for the year. January always is the absolute lowest because you have to think when stuff goes under contract. So we're still at a really good time in the market to be a seller if you can handle all of the competition. Now, as a buyer or a seller, you also need to look, average days in MLS is 38.5 right now. That means 38.5 days to go under contract. So hopefully that's helpful. If you have any other questions, concerns, you need other data, local markets of any kind, please let me know. I'm always here to help out. It's Anthony with Land Title. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel to see more content like this, and we'll see you next time.